This week, President Bill Clinton signs Votor and gets a $200 haircut. Nirvana feuds with Newsweek. Billy Idol goes cyberpunk. Brady Mania reigns again. And Ice-T meets Slayer. Hi, I'm Kurt Loder. Welcome to the Week in Rock. President Bill Clinton had a bad, or at least an expensive, hair week, but he also fulfilled a campaign pledge on Thursday by signing into law the long-delayed motor voter bill. Tabitha Soren was on the scene and had an exclusive interview with Clinton himself. Tab?
Thanks, Kurt. I'm on the south lawn of the White House, where on Thursday, President Bill Clinton signed the Voter Registration Act, or so-called motor voter bill, into law.
As I said, I have long supported the idea of motor voter. More than a year ago, I promised as president that I would sign H.R. 2 and fight for its passage. I'm pleased to be able to keep the promise today that I made on this Rock the Vote card, which still has my signature, back in New Hampshire.
After languishing in Congress for years, the Voter Registration Act is sure to add millions to the voting rolls. The impact on voter turnout is an open question.
We've got to have people at the grassroots level making sure that all these state officials in every state actually implement this law in the proper way and in a good spirit. And then I think what we need to do before every succeeding election is to do what was done last November and before. That is, try to reach people who don't normally vote where they live, on MTV for young people, for example, or by campaigning in areas where the voter turnout has been traditionally low and talking about what the election means to them.
Over the years, there have been some changes made to the bill, so here's a brief history and an explanation of how it will work. The motor voter bill requires states to allow citizens to register to vote when they apply for or renew their driver's license. It would also permit registration by mail and provide registration forms at welfare and other social services offices. This bill is designed to increase voter turnout among minorities, the poor, and 18 to 34-year-olds. Though it was approved by Congress last year, President George Bush vetoed it.
I think the thing that concerned me about it is the opportunity for fraud. That's what
studies show that in areas where they made it easier to vote, there haven't been increased instances of fraud.
Well, that's studies of those who want it. I don't want it, and I'm against it.
It's not just because you think that the Democrats would benefit from more people registering?
No, more people that register, the better. I've gone on these programs saying we ought to register and we ought to vote. I think we do better when people do.
With Bush no longer in office, the bill was reintroduced and quickly passed through the House of Representatives. In the Senate, however, it was opposed almost exclusively by Republicans, prompting President Bill Clinton to rally public support.
If you know your senator, or whether you do or not, write them, call your senator's office, tell them to please push the motor voter bill out and send it to the president's desk.
Currently, 30 states have some form of motor voter registration. However, only 10 of these actually register you to vote when you get your driver's license. The remaining 20 make registration forms available, but it's not automatic. Under the new law, all 50 states will be required to follow identical guidelines to make registration easier.
I think it's going to make a huge difference. It's going to make people feel more franchised, like they have a better reason to go out and vote. And I hope it makes a big difference.
I think it's been estimated that there are 50 million people who might get out and register who wouldn't have before. I really see it as an equal rights bill.
To keep the voting up, you have to change the way you campaign and reach people where they are, untraditional ways. Then you got to find ways for people to continue to be involved and communicate, and that's what we're struggling with here now.
There's a different kind of day at the White House where rock stars and ties mingled with politicians. When's the last time you got dressed up and put on a tie and hung out with politicians?
I think the inauguration was the last time I had a suit on.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's the only reason I have.
I didn't expect to see Dave Mustaine in a tie.
Yeah.
He looks good.
Is that a clip-on?
No, it's real. Jeez, Tabitha.
You tied it yourself?
Yeah, I did.
Not everyone is perfectly happy with the new motor voter law. The provision to register people at unemployment offices was taken out of the bill as a compromise with Republicans to get the bill passed. But supporters of the new law are predicting a surge in voter registration as well as turnout when the law goes into effect in 1995. Back to you, Kurt.